The Meta Quest 3 is the go-to headset for most people, but what if you could trade all that convenience for something insanely light, ultra sharp and custom fit? This is the Bigscreen Beyond 2, and it might just be the most futuristic PCVR headset ever made. I've reviewed a lot of headsets in the past 8 years, and I also tested the original Bigscreen Beyond, which blew me away with its custom fit design and tiny form factor. This new version claims to improve it even more. So today I'm excited to share my first impressions by comparing it directly with the most popular standalone headsets right now, the Quest 3 and 3S. A full review is coming later after I spend more time with the Beyond 2, and by the way, Bigscreen loaned me this headset for testing and I'll be sending it back after I finish that full review. Now join me beyond reality. VR headsets are getting better every year, but they're also starting to split into two very different paths. On one side, we've got all-in-one headsets like the Quest 3 and 3S, affordable, wireless, and packed with mixed reality features. On the other side, there are headsets like the Bigscreen Beyond 2 going all in on visual clarity, low weight, and custom fit comfort, but entirely dependent on a PC and base stations. And before I forget, Bigscreen is releasing a version called the Beyond 2E, which adds built-in eye tracking. And it uses a tiny, ultralight tracking system that adds just over a gram of weight, and it's designed for things like shoujo VR and modding support. I haven't tested this version yet, but it's one I'll be watching. What I have is the Beyond 2, which starts at $999 US, and the 2E comes in at $1,299. That's before you add base stations or controllers, so it's definitely a premium setup compared to Quest headsets. Speaking of Quest, sponsored part ahead, but trust me, this one might get you moving. Trip the Light is a new VR dance game where you don't just copy moves, you dance with AI partners, time your steps, hit combos, and it's doing something I haven't seen before in VR, full-on partner dancing that feels responsive. It's built for Quest 2, 3, 3S, and we actually got to try it already. As you can see, Chary's having a blast because it's way more realistic and fun than we initially expected. We love that you're also picking up real dance skills, and besides partner mode, there's a mirror me mode for learning popular solo choreography at your own pace with no one watching except for maybe your pet, so no pressure. You've got different styles, salsa, swing, hip-hop, line dancing, and once you're ready, you can take on the challenges with one of the in-game dancers who are based on real pros, by the way, which adds a nice touch. You can play in pass-through or full VR, and there's a novel boundary system to keep you safe while you move. Now, they just hit their Kickstarter goal, but late pledges are still open for a limited time, so you can grab the reward that includes the game for less than what it costs when it launches on the Quest store, and backer-only exclusives. Links down below, go check it out before it ends. Back to the video. So part of what you're paying for is the comfort, and that hits immediately. So one of the craziest things about the original Bigscreen Beyond was how you ordered it. Using an iPhone face scan, they 3D printed a custom cushion made just for your face. And when it arrived, it literally felt like it melted onto your face, ridiculously snug and comfortable. I'm not saying it hugged me better than some people in my life, but I'm not saying that either. So that same custom cushion is compatible with the Beyond 2 as well. But this time they're also introducing a new accessory called the Halo Mount, a universal fit system inspired by tactical night vision goggles, which I think looks very cool. It offers fine-tuned controls for tilt and eye relief, letting you dial in the fit without needing a custom cushion. That means you no longer need an iPhone face scan to use the headset, which can be a big deal because now it also means you can actually share the headset. Others won't get the full wow factor of the custom fit, but at least they can try it out. The Halo Mount works with different types of face interfaces as well, including a soft light shield that comes in the box, the original custom fit cushion if you already have one, or even no cushion at all. It's not available yet, it's shipping later this year, but it's cool to see a more accessible option. Now, at just 107 grams, the Beyond 2 is still shockingly light, over 400 grams lighter than the Quest 3 and 3S. It almost feels like wearing ski goggles compared to a full-on motorcycle helmet. The Quest's headsets are much heavier and front-heavy by design, which is why most people end up upgrading the strap, which makes the whole headset even heavier. But they're also way more convenient. No base stations, no setup time, just power on and play. So in terms of comfort, the Beyond 2 definitely wins on weight and wearability, but it's not quite plug and play. And that brings us to the biggest trade-off: setup. With the Quest 3 or 3S, setup is that simple. Just turn it on and you're basically ready to play. But that's the beauty of standalone VR. You don't need a PC, you don't need external sensors, and you can use it pretty much anywhere. With the Beyond 2, you're committing to full-on PCVR. That means Steam VR base stations, a compatible graphics card, and enough space in your play area to make it all work. There's no built-in tracking, no cameras. It's completely reliant on external hardware. Setup isn't necessarily difficult, especially if you've used a Valve Index or any other Steam VR headset before, but it's definitely not casual. And there's another factor: you need to buy the base stations and controllers separately, which adds to the total cost fast. So while the Beyond 2 nails the hardware, it still lives in that classic PCVR ecosystem. Powerful, yes, but not frictionless. When it comes to visuals, this is where things get interesting. The Beyond 2 uses dual 1-inch micro OLED displays at 2560 x 2560 per eye, and paired with their new pancake lenses, the image is incredibly sharp with deep blacks and insane contrast. You really feel that OLED pop, especially coming from LCD panels like the ones in the Quest headsets. Compared to the Quest 3, the difference in black levels is immediately noticeable. Scenes feel more cinematic, darker environments look richer, and the clarity edge to edge is impressive thanks to the upgraded lenses. They've also improved brightness and reduced glare compared to the original Beyond, though I'll need more time to say how it holds up in longer sessions. The Quest 3 still looks great for a standalone. Its resolution is lower and it uses LCD, but Meta's pancake lenses do a solid job of keeping the image crisp. The 3S, on the other hand, uses a single LCD panel and Fresnel lenses, which means more glare, less clarity, and a smaller sweet spot. The field of view is also slightly wider according to Bigscreen. They claim around 116 degrees diagonal, which edges out the Quest 3's listed 110. These are manufacturer specs, so I'll share my own measured results in the full review. It's a nice bonus though, and in some moments I do notice it, but so far it hasn't felt like a huge leap. Now you also get manual IPD adjustment, which is new for Beyond 2. You can now fine-tune the lens positions for each eye instead of locking into a fixed size like on the original model. It's a one-time setup, but it's essential for both clarity and eye comfort. This is also what makes it possible for you to share the headset, since it's not common that you have the same IPD as all of your friends. For comparison, the Quest 3 also has a manual slider for the IPD, while the Quest 3S uses a more limited system with just 3 fixed positions. So if you care about pure visual fidelity, the Beyond 2 takes the win by far, as long as your PC is up to the task. By the way, if you're enjoying this, toss me a like. It costs nothing and maybe helps me afford another base station. Which brings us to the big question: how does it actually feel to play with the Beyond 2? First off, it's still insanely comfortable. Even in longer sessions, the headset barely puts any pressure on your face, and that's the magic of this headset. It's so light and well balanced that you almost forget you're wearing hardware at all. It just kind of disappears, which is something most headsets still struggle with. In-game, it's smooth, motion feels snappy, and I haven't noticed any latency issues so far. The clarity helps too, especially when reading UI or spotting distant details. That said, this experience really depends on your PC, so here's my setup. The Beyond 2, as you can see, needs DisplayPort 1.4 with display stream compression and a powerful GPU to hit full resolution. At 90Hz, the signal is compressed and upscaled, which might slightly reduce sharpness in fine details. If you want the sharpest image possible, 75Hz gives you native resolution. I'll explore this more in my full review. So yeah, if your PC isn't up to spec, you won't get the most out of this headset, and that adds to the overall cost. The Quest 3 and 3S run everything internally, which means performance is consistent, optimized, and more plug and play. And honestly, they're great for all types of games, even intense ones. Meta is also investing heavily into content, so the Quest library is still the biggest out there. Tracking-wise, the Beyond 2 uses SteamVR base stations, and when properly set up, this kind of tracking is still more accurate and reliable than inside-out systems like the Quest 3's. I'll test the headset tracking more closely in my full review, but so far it's exactly what I expected from a solid SteamVR setup. Now, before we go further, here's a quick side-by-side of all the specs that matter most. As you can see, the Quest 3S is the budget-friendly option. It uses the same chip as the Quest 3, but steps down in areas like resolution, lens quality, and overall build. The Quest 3 is the most balanced of the bunch, still standalone, but with sharper displays, better pass-through, and more features overall. And then there's the Beyond 2, not standalone, not wireless, and definitely not for everyone, but in terms of display quality, comfort, weight, and optics, it's in a league of its own. It's not just about raw specs though, it really comes down to who each headset is for, and that's what we're diving into next. So with all that said, who are these headsets actually for? If you want to jump into VR, play games, explore mixed reality, and not think too much about setup or system requirements, the Quest 3S is a solid entry point. It's budget friendly and still runs the same chip as the Quest 3. So you're getting good standalone performance even if the visuals and lenses are a step down. The Quest 3 is the all-rounder. It's the best choice for most people right now. Standalone, feature-rich, and one of the most polished headsets for both gaming and MR. But the Beyond 2, for now, that seems to be for the deep-end VR lovers. Sim racers, flight simmers, hardcore PCVR folks. You know who you are. You've got SteamVR base stations mounted with laser precision and a spreadsheet for your FOV stats. Kinda like me. You want that ultra comfort and you're not afraid to go full PCVR wizard mode to get it. But I'm not ready to call it the ultimate PCVR headset just yet, but it's off to a pretty exciting start. That's where I'm at. After my first few days with the Beyond 2, I'm going to keep testing this headset and dig into more of the long-term stuff for the full review. Things like tracking reliability, headset stability, comfort over time, and any weird quirks that may show up with extended use. Which, let's be honest, is just my excuse to play more VR games and call it research. So if there's anything you want me to test or talk about in that review, drop your questions in the comments. I'm reading them all, at least in the first few days. Hit like if this helped, sub for the deep dive, and I'll catch you back in VR soon.